That's so satisfying. Thank you so much for visiting my channel, Lullaby Lane. This is my second video. And before we get into it, I would just like to say a huge thank you to everybody who has subscribed and watched my first video about wild garlic pesto, which I hope you all enjoyed, and more to the point, I hope you all made. Anyway, this video is another cooking video, and it is Banana Blondies. I'm just waiting for our bain-marie to warm up. A bain-marie is simply a pan of hot water with a glass bowl or something that's not going to shatter set on top of it. As an insurance policy, I just put the lid of a strainer underneath. It just means the glass bowl can sit more comfortably in that. And obviously you can use a microwave if you have one to melt the butter. Just blast it for 3 to 5 seconds a time. Keep checking back, because obviously microwaves melt things extremely quickly, but they do melt things unevenly, so you might find that your butter starts melting a great deal around the edges but is still very solid in the centre. I'm now going to pop our butter in, and that's 120 grams of butter. I'm using salted butter. You can use either salted or unsalted, it's really your preference. But while I wait for the butter to melt, I'll just talk you through the rest of the ingredients. So while we're just waiting for the butter to melt, I'm going to talk you through the rest of the ingredients. So I've used 120 grams of butter, 120 grams of plain flour or all-purpose flour, depending on where you're joining me from in the world. Some soft light brown sugar, again about 120 grams. An egg, medium egg, large egg, it doesn't really matter. The mankiest banana you can get your hands on, as long as it's not actually looking mouldy, of course. Vanilla extract. I actually love to use vanilla paste. Let me just show you. That's what I use. And a pinch of salt as well. Let's give it a stir. I'm going to turn the pan off because it's still going to produce quite enough steam to keep on melting. So I'm going to improvise and use this flan tin. It does have a loose bottom, ha ha. So I suggest you butter around the edges really well of whatever container you're going to use. And I just wanted to show you this really quick tip if you're ever asked to line a cake tin. You take your greaseproof paper and you just fold it in half, fold it into quarters, and then again like so. And instead of drawing around your pan so it's absolutely precise, if you hold it in the middle and just eyeball it, like about there, and then just cut round, and this is only very quick, and then open it out like so. There you are, pretty much fits. So as you can see, the butter is now fully melted. This is still a bit warm, so it'll continue to do so. Give it a stir. Right, the next thing to add is our sugar, our light brown sugar. Oops. In it goes. I'm just going to press it a bit with the fork, because the thing about this sugar is sometimes it can get a bit lumpy, and although it will melt down very easily in the oven, it just gives us a head start. So just incorporate all that in like so. Then I'm going to put in our flour. It really doesn't matter in which order you put anything in. This is why this recipe is terribly easy. And meanwhile, I'm going to turn our oven on to 180 degrees. Yeah, 180 degrees, that's usually what I do things on. That smells absolutely delicious. Right, I'm just going to give this egg a quick beat. And in that goes. Tiny bit of salt, just a pinch. We're going to put in this squidgy banana. This recipe, you can easily double the amounts as well if you want to make a bigger batch, and they freeze really well, so don't worry about these little brown patches. I always try and get the stringy bits off, but other than that, that's absolutely fine. That's exactly what you're looking for, a really, really easy to squish banana, like that. Mix this all up. Then the only other ingredient we need is the vanilla extract, as I say, paste or extract or whatever you've got in your cupboard really. I think the great thing about this recipe is it's pretty much doable with all your store cupboard staples, and yeah, that banana that's been lurking in your fruit bowl for far too long. Right, let's just clean that bit off there. Just get around the edges, make sure all the flour is incorporated. Like so. Then a bit of paste. I'm trying to save on washing up, so I'll just lick that. Wow, that's good. And use the back of the fork and pop some of that in. And this is actually really sweet as well, so there's a little bit more sugar there for you if you have a sweet tooth. Yum. Okay. Ooh, wow, that's really good. Give that a good old mix. Doesn't matter if your mixture, your banana bits are not quite mashed up properly. It's really very, very easy. So that's the consistency of the mixture. I'm just going to pour it into the tin. Whoops, and we had an accident. This is probably slightly too big a pan for the mixture, but it will hopefully rise just a little bit. So I'm now going to put that into the oven for about 20-25 minutes and come out and check it in a little while. So this is the moment of truth. It's been in the oven now for about 25 minutes on 170 degrees-ish. Yeah, that looks good. It springs back when you touch it, so yes, I'm going to take it out of the oven. Yum! So whilst we wait for the Blondie to cool down, because she's getting a bit hot under the collar, I thought we would make some icing to spread on the top just to make it extra decadent and sweet and a really naughty treat. It's an extremely simple icing. You only need 4 ingredients, some more butter, some more butter, again salted or unsalted, some icing sugar, light brown sugar that we used in the Blondie recipe, 2 tablespoons of milk, it doesn't matter what type of milk you use, and just some icing sugar, which is beaten in after the other ingredients are melted down in a pan on the oven. You just have to be really patient when you're doing this bit to keep the heat low, as obviously you don't want to burn the butter. And do bear in mind that sugar gets incredibly hot, so for heaven's sake, don't let it spit at you or stick your fingers in just to taste it out of curiosity. It doesn't take long to melt down. So that's just the butter and the sugar in there at the moment. And this sugar, the light brown sugar, is what gives the icing that gorgeous caramelly colour. It smells absolutely delicious. I'm going to turn the heat off now because I don't want to burn anything. It's so easy to do. You need to incorporate about 2 tablespoons of milk. So let's move that off the heat slightly. Give it a good old stir. Make sure all the lumps of sugar are dissolved so the icing's smooth. And then, yeah, these are my rough measurements. That's about 2 tablespoons. Touch more, there we are. We can always add more if we need to. Give that a good old stir. Then we're going to put this back on the heat, just to bubble very, very slightly. And to thicken it slightly. In fact, I am going to put a bit more milk in there. I'm going to just finish it off. Don't want to waste a drop, do we? No point. So let's pop it back on the heat. Again, very gently. Very, very gently. Watch it like a hawk. And when this is bubbled, just a little tiny bit, we're then going to stir in that icing sugar, or powdered sugar, as our American friends like to call it. So the brownie is still very warm. I'll just about pick the pan up now. Oh, still very hot underneath. And because I've perhaps used slightly the wrong size tin, right, let's turn that down a bit. It's not as thick as I perhaps would have liked it to have been, but never mind. We can make up for that with more icing sugar, can't we? If you use a tin and you've got too much, you don't want it to be too thick, just keep the remainder of the mixture in the freezer. Right, that's bubbled nicely. Give that a stir. Don't want it catching on the bottom. There we go. Then into our pan. Right, don't be tempted to lick the spoon, it's hot. I nearly did that myself just then. Right, I seem to have a bit of greenery in there, not sure what that's from, maybe a tomato leaf. Right, let's turn that off. I have the most diddy whisk here, which I love to use as much as possible. So I'm just going to pour in, again, I haven't really measured, but this is all the icing sugar I have, so it's all going in. Let's give it a little whisk, see what happens. Need to get all the lumps out. If you guys have got any good ideas as to what to do with leftover bananas, please put them down below in the comments. As I say, my go-to is normally banana bread or banana muffins or something. But I just wanted to do something a bit different. So if anybody's got any good ideas, then let me know. You can, of course, freeze bananas to stop them going brown in the first place, or to stop them going soft in the first place, and use them in smoothies. So perhaps I should start doing that. Then I'll have less cooking to do with these mouldy bananas. Right, really incorporate that in. Then again, this needs to cool just a little bit and thicken up. Put it back on the heat just for a little while. Oh my god, that is delicious. That is so good. Wow. I was going to pop that back on the heat just to help that icing sugar combine in the rest of the mixture. Where's my other whisk? Right, give it a good old whisk around. Get rid of the lumps and bumps. So when this has cooled down, I'm going to pour it over our Blondie. I'm going to leave it in the tin to do that so it doesn't pour off the edges, and then maybe even pop it in the fridge for a little while just so it sets just a bit more firmly, and then I will show you the end result. This has been in the fridge for about 40 minutes just to set the icing more quickly because I've got some very keen people waiting to try it. So let's just cut into that. Oh, wow, that's so satisfying. Yum. Trying to slice my fingers off. Should I be generous or should I just give them a finger-sized sliver? I don't think this is going to last too long, to be honest. We'll start with a finger-sized sliver. Guys, look at that. Wow. Delicious. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And I would be so grateful if you would like and subscribe to my channel. Sorry, I'm just licking my fingers. Guys, this is devilishly sweet. It really is a treat. And you only need a sliver. A sliver with a cup of coffee, I think, would be absolutely ideal. I really hope you've enjoyed this recipe, and I would love it if you would like it and subscribe to the channel. Goodness knows what I shall be up to next time I see you. It could be something creative, it could be some more cooking, or perhaps something outside in the garden. Thank you so much for watching my recipe on how to make banana blondies. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any ideas as to what I should make next, then please leave them in the comments. And thank you for watching. Hello.
Hello.